Hello and welcome to today's episode of UpGrade with Maria Kay, the podcast where your success, freedom and happiness get a weekly boost. I'm Maria Kay and I help people all over the world convert their dreams into reality, convert their bigger vision into the daily life that they wake up to. I'm passionate about helping you achieve your deepest desires, and I am here to tell you that you deserve to experience them. Today's podcast topic is surrender versus giving up. Now, I am absolutely certain that we've all given up at some point in our life in the past. And I'm also very sure that the only way that we can fail is if we give up. The other way that we can fail is if we never start in the first place. But the fact that you're here tuning in, listening to this, indicates to me that you've started or you're interested in moving your life from where it is now to a heightened state. From where it is now, perhaps it's 1-star or 2-star, you are ready to take your life right the way up to the 5-star, the 6-star and the 7-star way of life. Now, when we talk about giving up, just sit with those words and tune into how they feel in your body for a second. Giving up. I give up. I'm done. How does that feel? Now, for me, it's starting to feel very tight and icky and uncomfortable in my belly area. Now, giving up is fueled by the belief that something isn't possible. It's directly tied to the essence of restriction, pain, lack, negativity, drawing on past failures perhaps, fear of failing again, pessimism, and in general, kind of veering towards the worst case scenario thinking. Is that you? Or perhaps it's the people around you, your partner, your parents, your colleagues, your children even. Now, this upgrade journey that we are all on, every single one of us is wired by our very nature to have a forward moving evolutionary journey. Some of us bigger, more prominent, others on a smaller, slower, more subtle scale. So this means that we are constantly seeking ways to improve. Now, I'll stress, and I've said this before and I'll keep saying it, the desire to improve and upgrade and make change doesn't necessarily mean that what we've got going on now is awful or broken or in a dire situation. The desire for more is simply the knowing that there's always room for more. There's always room for improvement. Now, I've known this from a very young age. And I remember going into each and every summer knowing that I will come out of the summer, come September, October, as a totally different person because I will have had the time and the space to explore and adventure and read different books, meet new people, expand my horizons. And that's true for every single one of us. It is so normal and natural to want to upgrade. So the fact that we're all on this journey of upgrade means that we are, at most points along the way, focusing on that level of improvement, an increase in whatever it is that you want to see and experience and create in your life. That also means that we have to step outside of our comfort zone. Sometimes a few times. If you're like me, then it's on a pretty much daily basis. But then that also leads us to the potential to fall, to stumble, to meet with obstacles and blocks. Now, I've taught before, you may have heard me say, that each obstacle, each block, each perceived mistake is purely an opportunity to become more of who we are here to be. And that becomes almost impossible if we continue at every obstacle, at every block, challenge, mistake, if we continue to give up. When we are closely connected to the inner intelligence, the inner navigation system that we all are born with, and we listen and we take note and we honor the messages, the nudges, the voices, the information that we receive on a very regular basis. When we are closely connected to that and we trust those messages, the tendency that perhaps we've had in the past to give up begins to weaken. It begins to dissolve. Giving up is directly tied to the essence of restriction, to the belief that we can't create something out of nothing, that we can't be, do, or have what we desire. Giving up is brought to life when we are walking this path of life alone, without the presence of that connection to our own inner being, but also to all that is, that wider source of intelligence, energy, hope, faith, love, abundance that is there to keep us afloat. When life's path is trodden alone, without the presence and connection to the universe, God, however you prefer to label it, when we are locked into the reality of the physical world, filled with facts and figures and mainstream truths, perhaps examples from other people around you, or don't go and watch that film at the movies, it's a waste of time. Don't read that book. I didn't enjoy it at all. That's a small example of buying in to someone else's perception, attitude, and someone else's truth. Is it your truth? Could be. Highly likely that it's not, though. Giving up brings our worst nightmares to life. It's connected also to a weakened self-belief muscle. And it's much like turning your back on yourself when you need you the most. Putting the voice of your intelligent inner being on mute. So you have a desire, you have a vision, you have a dream. Now that vision, that dream, that idea is there as a preview to what is possible. When we turn our back on those messages, those dreams, when we ignore the pull, the nudge, the interest, when we disbelieve or mistrust the process of life, we are far more likely to give up. Giving up versus surrender. This is our theme for today. Giving up is I can't have things how I want or when I want, so I'll not have them at all. It's that kind of thinking. Well, I can't have a 6-figure business now. It's unlikely that I will ever create a 6-figure business. I can't have the lover of my dreams or my soulmate now. It's highly unlikely that I'll ever meet my soulmate. So I'll just give up. Now, giving up happens first and foremost in the mind. Our mind is the root, it's the epicenter, it's the hub. If you want to understand why life is showing up for you in the way that it is, if you want to understand the outer workings of your life, you must go directly to the inner workings of your mind, of your body, of your soul. Giving up is the succumbing to the smallness of the mind, the restrictedness of the mind's inability to believe before it sees. Now, this part of the mind is fueled by the ego. The ego is there to keep you safe. So please find it in you to be compassionate towards this part of you. Compassion, forgiveness, acceptance. Those are key components in muscling in and dissolving rather than going at it with a sledgehammer. Gently on a daily, moment by moment basis, sprinkling that love dust, that fairy dust, that dust of compassion over that part of you that is really and truly there to protect you. But somewhere along the way, it's been misguided. And somewhere along the way, you bought in to that as the truth. So giving up is succumbing to the smallness of the mind, just the way the ego planned. So are you an I'll believe it when I see it person? I'll believe it when I see it person? Or are you I'll see it when I believe it person? I'll see it when I believe it. Now, the awesome thing is, whichever one you are right now, it's cool. Because you know what? Your mind and your beliefs and your thoughts are all malleable. It means that they have the capacity to change. You have the capacity to remold them. Imagine a piece of plasticine or Play-Doh or clay in your hand right now. It's soft, it's malleable, it's moldable. You can change its shape with your free will. How awesome is that? So don't worry, don't fret. Don't down spiral with negative thoughts right now. If what I've just described fits totally with how you are currently experiencing your life, it's all good. Most of us might perhaps associate the term surrender with a kind of action movie or even a Western movie where one of the two parties in battle puts hands up and states the word very clearly, I surrender, right? I surrender. Now, in that scenario, It really does look as though that party or that side or that country that's gone to war is giving up. So if you are currently feeling that the word surrender means to give up, then I'd like to invite you to start to change your mind. Giving up is the equivalent to not trying anymore. No hope, no faith. Giving up is labeling yourself as wrong, as a mistake, as not good enough. Surrender is fueled by the belief that everything is possible, everything that your inner being is nudging you towards, everything that your inner being is guiding you forth to, showing you glimpses of, telling you this is possible for you. Surrender is expansive. It's light, it's trusting, it's loving, it's forward thinking, positive, and directly connected to an attitude that, you know what, today I would not be without. Because I wouldn't be who I am today. I wouldn't be where I am today without this particular attitude. And that is the can-do attitude. I can do. A short story springs to mind. Now, if you tuned in a few weeks ago to an episode that was all about a divine message from a blocked pipe. Now, here's a really powerful connection to that story that I shared with you guys. If you haven't yet listened to it, do hop back and find it, because I'm not going to spend much time going deeply into the story now. In essence, I returned from a long trip back to my UK home, to a couple of days later realised that the sink in the kitchen was becoming blocked. And after much deliberation and wondering what to do and trying to get a professional out, but it was the holiday, so no one was free, and I attempted to undo the pipes myself after some advice from a friend, and I did, and I unblocked the pipe, and all was well and good. But then when I attempted to put the pipes all back together again, it was becoming almost impossible. Almost impossible. Now, there was a point in time, despite my can-do attitude. Now, if you can imagine how strong and fierce that is ingrained in me, and I wish the same for you as well, you know. It took a lot for me to not give up, but surrender. And during that process, after handing the job over to the professional, after all, I was then able to reap the reward of the whole experience. Now, you could say, Maria, well, why would there be a reward? You sort of spent so much time on this issue, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, and you don't even do quote unquote manual stuff. You much prefer to share things like this and messages and help other people in the world. So how could it possibly be a blessing in disguise? Well, it was, because I was then provided with that very, very sacred and divine message. If you want to know what the message is, pop back into the archives and pull out a divine message from a blocked pipe, and you'll hear it. It's all there. But the essence of what I'm sharing with you right now is I surrendered. I surrendered because I knew there was more. I knew there was more to what I was tinkering about with in that moment. Surrender keeps the flow of life open. It feels and it is expansive. It's effortless. So just shifting back for a second to the divine message from a blocked pipe. to have continued day after day after day in that space of struggle, despite my can-do attitude, wouldn't have served me. So to surrender, to keep those floodgates of that energy force open, expansive, and I opted for the effortless option, the path of least resistance. That is to surrender. To surrender is a co-creative partnership with the universe, with God, with all that is. Surrender equals hope. Surrender is also prayer. It requires a believing it to see it mentality. So I believe this is true. The energy that you create with that belief then attracts, hooks in exactly what you are seeing, visualizing, thinking about, feeling about. A surrendered mind is a wide open mind, wide open to the infinite possibilities of our eternal universe. Surrender is expansive. To have the ability as a human being to surrender is tying in with the ability to remain true to your higher self, to your higher knowing, your desires, trusting your passions, to the life that you are drawn to a way of life that you desire so much. And feeling the happiness anyway, feeling happy whether you're locked in a period of unrest, the ability to feel secure and content, even if things aren't yet how you desire them to be. Surrender is handing the responsibility over to the universe. Please do understand, guys, when I say universe, feel free to replace that word with anything that feels good for you. Surrender is handing over your worries, the details, the timing, handing it all over to a source that is much more powerful than you alone. Together, as a co-creative unit, you can move mountains. You can create empires. You can be, do, and have anything that you desire. Surrender is trust. Surrender is quitting, trying to control every last detail. Surrender is trust in your outer, but also your inner world. Surrender is to trust the process. And here's a prayer that I often speak out loud when I'm experiencing a period of uncertainty or worry. And here it is. God, you've brought me this far. You've placed me where I am today. I don't have any more answers. I'm stuck. I'm confused. I don't know where to go next or what to do next. So please take the burden off of me and guide me. Show me the way. Take my hand. I trust you. I know that together we are stronger. Together we are better. I don't expect or maintain to do any of this alone. I know that I'm here because of you, God. And I'm grateful for that. I surrender to you, God. I surrender. I trust that what you have in store for me is much, much bigger and better than I could ever imagine or conjure up in my mind. I thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So if you can find the courage to let go and let God, if you can find the strength to not know all of the details all of the time, if you can learn that to surrender is the highest form of upgrade, you will not only continue to upgrade joyously, successfully, freely, but you will do so in the most sacred of peace. Here's a mantra for you. I surrender because I know I can be, do, and have everything I desire and much, much more than my mind could ever conceive. If you haven't already done so, please jump over to the Facebook group. Simply search UpGrade with Maria Kay and join us. We're going to be continuing this dialogue of surrendering versus giving up over there. So please do come on over and post, share, connect with us. You're so, so welcome and so, so loved and supported. I honor your journey. I honor you. I honor your forward movement. I honor where you've been. I also honor your fears and worries. But it is my deepest desire that for you to learn day by day, moment by moment, to keep moving forward regardless of your fears and doubts. Of course, always checking in to ensure that they are ego-based versus heart-based. That's where all the information lies. All the information you will ever need with regards to deciding to surrender versus giving up. Until next time, I am leaving you with as much courage and love and positive, expansive, light, trusting, loving, forward-thinking, can-do attitude. Anything else that you need right now in order to keep moving forward on your upgrade journey. Until next time.